Hi guys, happy Saturday to you. Chef Kevin Belton here. I don't know if you all know this, but August is peach month. And here in Louisiana, North Louisiana, the town of Ruston, which is between Monroe and Shreveport. Shreveport's on the west side, Monroe's on the east side. In the middle sits a little town of Ruston, and they're known for peaches. So I decided this morning to do two peach dishes. I'm gonna do a peach tea, and I'm gonna do a peach buckle. Now, you know, you hear different names for different things, where it's a cobbler and things like that. Well, I found out a buckle is called a buckle because of the fact that it's just a funny name to give a coffee cake that's filled with fruit. So that's what we're going to do, a peach buckle. So what I've done here, I've taken some peaches and sliced them. I have a couple of tablespoons of sugar. I just want to put a little sugar on them. And as a, you know, some peaches, the stone is a free stone, where the stone comes out easy. Others aren't. Like this one, I just cut down, and you see that the stone is in there, and it's really hard, that pit in the center. So I just cut all around it. Now, this portion here, save. Don't throw that away. I'm going to show you how to use that for our tea. So all I'm doing here, I just want to make thin slices. You can make them thin, you can make them thick, just totally up to you. There we go. We'll get these in a bowl. And let's get the rest of the sugar on. Like I said, this was like 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now we're going to just want those to sit there. And remember, don't toss this out just yet. I'll show you what we're going to do with that, all right? Let me just pop that right over here. So as our peaches sit, let's go ahead and work on the cake part. So basically, really simple. We have flour, we have dark brown sugar, and here I have a little bit of sugar, a little salt, and baking powder, okay? We'll get that worked in, and let's get our spoon. Now, one of the tricks here is, you know, when you measure out sugar, especially brown sugar, they always say pack it, all right? So when it's packed, now we have to try to loosen it up because we want to get mixed in with the flour, but we don't want any big chunks of brown sugar. So that's why I like a spoon, some of the wooden spoons or a metal spoon that's wide on the back, so you can mash this kind of flat, so we're not ended up with big chunks of brown sugar in there, okay? And I tell you what, hey, you might like that surprise, a nice little bite of brown sugar, but I'd like to go ahead and just mix it up a little bit. All right. There we go. Now, here's the other thing we're gonna pop in here. Here I have 3/4 cups of buttermilk. We need an egg, so I just like to put my egg right on in here. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in a teaspoon of almond extract. Now again, when you use flavors and extracts, be really careful with them. You all know I don't like to measure that much, but when I'm using an extract, I always tend to measure because it's very easy to overdo it. Whether you're using an orange flavor or a mint flavor, just really be careful. So I just like to beat this all together. See, if you just put them all together, it just makes it easier. So now we'll pour this into our bowl. And you're going to see how this comes together. And we just want to make sure, you know, like I've said before, I use a glass bowl. And what it does, it helps to be able to see the bottom to make sure we have all of the flour. Mix it in. We don't have any flour on the bottom of the bowl, like down here, any white streaks, to make sure it's all mixed in. Okay. Now, I'm going to bake this in a cast iron pan. Now, the recipe calls for some butter. A stick of butter, and what I've done, I've melted it in the cast iron pan. And now we're just going to add this right on in. Come on, get in there. All right, there we go. Once we stir this butter in, we're going to put this right back into the pan. And you see that butter coats our pan for us really nice. So we don't have to worry about spraying it, or we don't need parchment or anything like that. Matter of fact, this is the same thing. I tend to put a little melted butter in my cornbread. So when I make cornbread in the skillet, this is the way I do that. So let's go ahead and pour our batter in. If you want to get a spatula to make sure you get it all out. And I tell you what, if you've never had like a cake with brown sugar in it, it totally gives it a different flavor, a different texture. So now our peaches. Now, our peaches have been sitting here with that little bit of sugar on them, okay? And that's going to create a little juice. Now, the thing with the peaches in here, when it bakes, they can get covered up. So what I like to do, I like to go ahead and start putting some peaches around the sides to make sure we have some all the way in the back. Look at that one, tried to jump out. Okay? And then I'll just take the others and kind of pile them up in the middle. And you know, what happens is that cake is going to bake around them. So on the sides, back here, you won't see them. But in the middle, for sure, they'll poke their heads out a little bit. And that little bit of juice, don't leave that out. Now the oven preheating, 350 degrees. This is going to go in the oven for about 50 minutes, okay? You'll notice, of course, it'll start to cook from the outside in. If you think it's browning off too much on you, just lay a piece of foil over the top of it, okay? But it's not like a cake where it'll totally come out clean. You can see that the top will be cooked, all right? Where, as long as it doesn't look wet, it's ready. So let's go ahead and get this in the oven. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, this smells so good when it's baking. Now, for the tea, let me show you what I did here. Now, you remember our sliced peaches? I took our peaches, sliced our peach, but then, like I had it sliced, I also diced them up, okay? In a little pot, I had a cup of water, a cup of sugar, all right? Let that cook down with those peaches, and you remember this little end? I went ahead and threw that in there as well. I brought it up to a boil, then turned it down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 10-15 minutes, okay? I took these out and I actually took like a potato masher and just mashed up those diced up peaches. Now, let me get a little ice for you and show you how this looks. So here is, I ran it through a strainer. This is our peach simple syrup. These are the remnants of the peaches that were cooked down. I tell you what, this tastes so good. Both Monica and I tasted this. Monica said she wanted to, what you wanted to spread this on? A piece of cheese?
Yogurt.
Yogurt. She wants to put this on yogurt. I tell you what, gang, it is absolutely fantastic. So look, here, take your glass. Let's put some ice down in here. Now for the tea, I brewed the tea and I let it steep for about 5 minutes, okay? So we can pour in our tea. And depending on how sweet you like your tea, how much peach simple syrup do you put in? So, you know, all you have to do is give that a quick stir. There we have our tea. All right, put this on the side. I also took a little heavy cream and a little sour cream with a pinch of powdered sugar in it. I whipped it up. The peaks don't form like if you're just doing whipped cream by itself. You can kind of see it kind of peaked a little bit, but it'll be very thick. It's not like the typical whipped cream when you just whip cream up by itself. And look at the one I made earlier. I tell you what, doesn't that look good? And you can see what I was saying, how our peaches kind of are hidden in there. But what's nice for somebody that hasn't had it, when you cut it, you know, there's peaches all around this back side, but I pound them up in the middle. That way they're able to just poke their head out a little bit. A little dollop on your serving will give you a nice little, and this isn't too sweet. It's just a little bit of powdered sugar in there with the heavy cream and the sour cream. So we have our peach tea, we have our peach buckle, we have a remnant of peaches from making that simple syrup that you can go on granola. You can put it on, like Monica says, yogurt. Personally, biscuit, French bread, yeah, y'all know I got that dirty look from it just now, all right? So I hope you get yourself some peaches, and this will be a great way to celebrate the warm weather, the summer, the kids home, the kids getting ready to go back to school or whatever. This will give them that little sugar burst that they need to get those classes done. So keep washing those hands, keep masking up. Please stay safe out there. Thank you for cooking with me today. I am Chef Kevin Belton for WWL, and we will see you soon.